Hey guys and girls, Rusty here. I'm back on this truck. I did switch one of the tires off of my Ford to see how it would look on this 3/4 ton Chevy. I think that size is going to be pretty good when it comes time to buying tires. I just superficially put it the other tire over here, you know, just in case the jack failed or something. So anyways, I'm not gonna drive it like this. I just put it on there just to see if it's gonna work, and it looks like it will. And I could struggle on and on with these gas tanks on this truck, but I've been down this road before and it's a long, hard road. So I decided that I'm gonna put another fuel cell in. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this inside of the toolbox, and then I had this one already from my Volkswagen, and I'm gonna connect them together and run it across the inside of the toolbox. That way I can still fuel from either side. And like I had thought I would do with the saddle tanks that's installed in this truck, I will actually achieve being able to fuel either side, and it just pulls from the one tank. And so we'll just drill a hole down in there. This thing's already getting pretty rusty, actually. We'll just drill a hole down, and then we'll run down into the plumbing that's already there, and that should be pretty much settled then, right? Run a tank from both sides. Oh, that's weird. Why doesn't it want to open? Dang, does this thing just lock itself? Or does it only open one side at a time? Which would be kind of silly, wouldn't it? This one's got the lock busted out. I don't see how they could be connected. I'm gonna have to bust this lock out too, apparently. I'll figure it out. But anyways, I'm gonna have to make me some little stands, because the sump on these tanks is below the surface, right? So I got to bring it up off the ground a little bit, and I'm gonna use this piece to make that. I'll probably get a good time lapse going for you guys, building that and then measuring it and doing all that sort of thing. But I will tell you, this tank, I looked it up, I paid 96 bucks for. This one was 122. I got these hoses and these attachments, these AN fittings that I have on here superficially to check everything out. That was another $54. And I don't know where I put it, but oh, no, that's not it. I did order a mechanical pump also for the truck. So I'm gonna take that Chevrolet mechanical one out for a small block, and I'm gonna put the mechanical big block pump in. And after all that's said and done, we're gonna bring the grand total up to $5,083.27. But I can tell you one thing, we're not gonna have any more fueling issues. So I think we'll be able to do some longer drives in it. The transmission's great, and we got oil pressure for days. There are some engine noises, but who knows what kind of damage was done from running for so long with all these different problems that it's had. We'll just see what happens. So what I'll do is I'll get a time lapse going of me building this stuff and installing it, and then I'll come back for the testing on live action. right, here's what I got. You see the 5/8 line and the 3/8 line. There was already a hole in the bed, so all I did was make it a little bit bigger. I didn't want to put an extra hole if I didn't have to. So here's this side, and you can see the back side of the other one. All right, had to drill that lock out on this side. Remember, it was stuck. And here's the tank on this side. It's not exactly centered, but that's because when I was drilling, it was really hard to reach to the right spot. Anyways, there it is. And so now what I'll do is I'm going to connect everything below and get it running and driving. See, we had to drill that lock out. Still not acting right. Let's see. It's this thing here. There we go. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today, but I'll bring you back for a test drive in the morning before I make this video. It's starting to rain outside and this thing doesn't have any wipers. I put the tire that goes with this truck back on it, and I got my good spare back here. It fits this truck as well, so you know, got that spare. It's actually a trailer wheel, but who cares. Anyways, we're gonna take this for a little short drive around the block, and then I'm gonna do the oil change and change that fuel pump, assuming I don't run into any major issues. And even though I'm only going around the block, I do have my fuel filter and some limited tools. So let's see how bad this thing's gonna be. It starts pretty damn easy, actually. Then the valve train and everything rattles for a while, and then that finally stops. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna let this thing warm up, and then we'll get going down the road. All right, here we go. We got no windshield wipers though, but we just want to see if it's getting good fuel. You know, I put that dirty fuel back into those new tanks, but it's not going to get any dirtier sloshing around in the old tank, right? It's just going to get filtered, and that'll be that. A little bit after I hit this little creek area and see if it's gonna backfire and all that stuff. If it's getting proper fuel delivery, I don't think it will. And just then I gave it a good bit of gas and felt pretty solid. But who knows how long those cylinders were running without proper ignition. Could have been quite some time. But as it stands, she's cruising pretty good. In other news, my air compressor died. It can only make 50 psi now. So I gotta order a new air compressor. Oh yeah, she's not bogging down anymore. I'm gonna get the old downshift. But it took that pretty well. I imagine it might give me a little feedback here as I go to second and stay in it. Oh, I think it went to first actually. Yeah, it's still giving a little bit of issues, but not as bad as it had been. Like, this is drivable. So now we'll put that mechanical fuel pump on and give it an oil change. Watch out, squirrel. Dang. And I think we'll be doing pretty good. Here's the new fuel pump. The 350 Chevy one that is down there. I believe I had to order for a 1970 Chevelle.
because I didn't want a return line. I just wanted an inlet and an outlet. Anyways, I'll get that one off and we'll compare it. There's supposed to be a difference right here, and that's why the small block doesn't work on the big block sometimes. And we'll see what that looks like. Okay, here is the small block Chevy fuel pump. And if you look at this little arm that rides on the cam, it's got a pretty flat looking profile right here. And we can compare that with this one. It's got a much more pronounced bump at the tip there, and it's off at a little bit of a different angle. I'm one-handed here, or I would show you, but I don't want to disconnect these lines. Oh, here we go. See, you can see the angle's a little bit different as well. Spring is much further in on this one too. You can see the spring there on that one. Anyways, I'm going to remove it. It doesn't look like it took any damage, at least. And I can see the shaft down there, and I put the little bolt to hold the shaft. I don't know if you'll be able to make that one out, but I got a little bolt in the side of the block there to hold the shaft. So we're going to reinstall this, or we're going to install this one. And use these fuel lines on here, and I'm going to do it up here instead of having to get under the truck because it's still drizzling. It's hard to tell on camera, but it's drizzling out here. I don't want to be laying around in the ground. Well, I hooked up the mechanical fuel pump and everything, and it wasn't working. I disconnected the electric fuel pump, and the mechanical fuel pump wasn't making any pressure whatsoever. So I think either the shaft's messed up or something's wrong with the cam inside the engine. But whenever I push the shaft back in the hole, whenever I first put the other fuel pump on, it was pretty stiff in there. And so I think it might have taken some damage at some point. Or maybe at some point it'll work its way loose and start working. But for right now, I'm not gonna worry about it. I got the electric fuel pump, and what I'll have to do is I'll probably have to carry an extra with me just in case one day it fails. Otherwise, I'm gonna be stranded. But anyways, got the oil change, oil pressure's good, everything. So I'm gonna go take it for another test drive, see if it sounds any different, see if the motor likes a new oil. Probably won't be able to tell the difference, but that's the way it goes. And then I'm gonna call it for this video. So I got the fuel tanks in. I'm gonna drive to the gas station and put some new fuel in, and we're at 5,083 total. So looks like all we're gonna need is tires and windshield wipers moving forward, and some headlights. These headlights are, you know, they're not LEDs, let's just put it that way. My cousin has some LEDs that he said he'll give me, but I'll try to figure out what the price of those things were. So I'm trying to be honest here with the price of stuff. A lot of things I had already laying around, over $1,000 worth of that total price, over 5,000. But if you didn't have all that laying around, you know, and you just had to buy everything, that's what price I'm trying to give you. Like I got a lot of stuff, you know, over the years of working on these vehicles, and mostly Chevys and Fords. So I got Chevy and Ford stuff laying around that I can use, and not just anyone can do that. And other YouTubers and people like that, the mechanics that work on old cars, you know, they have a stockpile of parts, and that's how they were able to do what they do. Well, they got the knowledge and the skills, and they're not afraid to jump into something and learn something new. But also they got a hoard of parts from all the other projects they did. So if you don't have that, you know, I'm trying to give you what the cost would be. So, you know, we're in at $5 grand. It's up to you what kind of wheels and tires you want to put. I just put the one tire from this truck onto that one just to see. So I'm going to go with this size, a 285 75 16. It's a little bit higher, taller than stock, but not tall enough that I need to put a lift on it, which is what I want. And so you'll see me getting some tires at some point. I don't know what they're gonna cost. Probably around $200 a piece, maybe $130 a piece. By the time I get them installed, it's probably another $100. So if I had to guess, you know, we might be in it another $600, $700. And then we'll have something that's actually pretty safe to drive. The brakes are squeaking, but they work well. They don't slide and the truck stops fast. So I mean, if you were on a real tight budget, you could push that one down the road. But I'll probably change at least the front brakes to start with, and then we'll look at the back ones. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.